FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. We're here at Freedom Fest in beautiful Las Vegas, also known as the Meadows. And part of the FSN community has been asking me to interview somebody from Quintric, which is a cryptocurrency, for months now. And right now I've got Jeremy with me. Jeremy, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad you found us.
Hey, well, you can thank Steve for that. So, Quintric, why is your cryptocurrency different than all the others?
We're not a cryptocurrency. We're a crypto certificate, and we're backed by gold. In fact, we're not backed by just any gold. There's only 2 types of dollars that really matter in the world. There's ones made by the Federal Reserve, and there's another that's minted by the Treasury in gold coins. So we already have a gold standard, but we don't use it because it's $50 per ounce, right? No one wants to spend a $50 coin on it's worth $1,400, right?
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've cryptoized it, so it's 1,000 tokens per legal tender ounce of gold, and in so doing, recreated the gold standard.
Aha. So how many coins are out there?
Oh gosh, probably about $45 billion worth of gold coins currently.
And where's the gold sitting that backs all this up?
Oh, well, okay, so this particular program has only been out for a week. We've already sold over $1 million worth of gold, and this is sitting in a vault in Alpine. There's a couple problems that we ran into in doing a gold crypto certificate. The big solution is the legal tender aspect, in that this is the only cryptocurrency out there where you don't have the IRS chasing you down for a 28% capital gain every time you use it. The second problem it solves is you don't have a 30% movement on a daily basis like you do with many of these other cryptocurrencies. Mm-hmm. Now, this is based off a $7.7 trillion gold market. And then there's something else that we do, and this might have been one reason why they're bothering you. We're the first company to do this in the entire world. We prove reserves. We actually prove that we have the gold.
So you have total transparency. How many of these certificates do we have now?
In the first week of operation, the tokens.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. If it's 1,000 per coin, we probably got something like 500,000.
Okay. So that 500,000, if it's 1,000, that comes out to about 500 ounces of gold, or 5,000.
I don't think that's too bad for our first week. We're looking at scaling this thing up. Ultimately, we want to do millions of ounces of gold.
Understood. So the number of tokens is only limited by the amount of gold that you have, and you don't issue tokens if you don't have the gold.
That is absolutely correct. And that way we have a stable token. Now, I mentioned that we prove that we have the gold. The way we do it, so that all the tokens are kept track of on a ledger. So, anyone looking at a ledger can know exactly how much gold we're supposed to have, right? So if I tell you we have 500 ounces, the ledger says we have 475. It's 475, right? And, unlike the gold standards of yesteryear, where they could just print out as many notes as they wanted with very little accountability.
That was what banking was all about, was then they'd suspend specie payment, and basically your paper money was worthless.
Right. Well, absolutely. Every gold standard that has ever existed failed. And that's why Mike Maloney in his series, The Hidden Secrets of Money, says the worst thing we could do is go back to a gold standard. And he says it's because we're going to get scammed again, right? You're going to have some institution. They're not really going to have the gold, and you're going to have some note to the gold that's not there, and it's over. So, in solving this millennia-old problem, what we've done is first step was we have the blockchain, which says how much gold we're supposed to have, irrefutably. And then the second step is we live stream our vault. We're the only one in the world that I believe does this. We live stream our vault, and anyone can go back in time on the live stream and check every single coin, every single one, and see that all of them are weighed, tested, added to the shelf.
Okay. Do we have an independent auditor checking this? Because it reminds me, there's always a way to scam the system, even if you're not doing it yourself. Somebody trusted is substituting gold-coated tungsten coins for gold coins, or go back to the salad scandal of Billy Saul Estes from the 60s. He had oil in his tanks, except it was salad oil, vegetable oil. So what kind of outside third-party verification is there?
Okay, so we have the UPMA Board of Directors, which has been an independent, nonprofit, member-elected group of monetary activists that have been around since about 2011. And they also help participate in audits. One of the audits that we're looking at doing to, especially for people concerned about tungsten, if we were to have, let's say we had like fake reader, we didn't really have a real, millimeter wave tool, if it was a fraudulent tool, what we could do is we could do like a gimmick every year where we, buy a random, pick out a box, pick out a tube, pick out a coin, and then melt it to prove that all the coins are legitimate.
Yeah, well, that's what an auditor does is they have their book. Well, now it's not a book, but they have their random sampling guide. They pick a number, then they pick another number. It brings them to a page, to a line, and that number becomes every 60th one they check or whatever. So we're going to have outside auditing here. You said Alpine. Is it Alpine? Where is that vault? Alpine. Okay, not Alpine, New Jersey, because I don't trust the people in New Jersey. So Utah favorably disposed towards metal gold standard. So the Attorney General of Utah is actually a UPMA member, so he's very involved with the work that we've done in the past. We have him on video stating that if there's ever sort of a government seizure or an attempt at taking gold holdings, that it's the responsibility of the Attorney General in every state to block that kind of action. Which, that's about as good as you're going to get. Yeah. Outside of taking it from the country, putting it overseas, there's outfits that have vaults in Toronto and, Vancouver, other places. But keeping it here in the States, it's probably all you can do. We're going to have another program where we vault overseas. The problem with overseas jurisdictions is, some of these governments are just as bankrupt and just as corrupt as our government. I think it's a marketing ploy, to convince somebody to move their gold really far away. But if you imagine when these countries go into economic problems, look at Cyprus. The very first people they robbed were people that didn't live there, because what recourse do you have? Rule of law, very important. Canada is probably a good jurisdiction because it is a resource-based economy. They've never had gold expropriation there before. They're on the English common law. There's probably some good reasons to go there to diversify. If I were to play the devil's advocate, I'd argue that in Ontario, they're taking people's children away if the parents don't affirm gender pronouns or support if you look at Canada and the way they've turned hard left, if you go that way long enough, I don't know how safe a jurisdiction it's going to be, despite its good history. Yeah, it's a valid point, and couldn't agree with you more. Their prime minister is just a joke, but he won't be there probably much longer. But the country has totally gone so far to the left. So competition, what else is out there? I heard Sprott's doing a gold blockchain. They haven't tokenized it yet. What else do you see out there? You know what? Nobody else has a legal tender gold cryptocurrency. There's 100 other gold cryptocurrencies. We're the only one that's legal tender, meaning you can circulate it without a capital gains nightmare in the United States. That might work really well outside the country if there's no capital gains. But as far as American markets, it's us, and there's one other one, which is Anthem. But they also don't have legal tender. Another thing that we do that's not done in any of these other 100 companies is we prove reserves through live streaming. Right, which is a good thing. So when you say legal tenders, so you're only doing gold eagles, U.S. minted coins, is that it? That's absolutely correct. Because by backing the crypto certificates, making the crypto certificates redeemable for legal tender, we avoid all the asset problems that the crypto space has, which allows you to really use it as a currency, and that's what we're hoping people do. Got it. What about the government, SEC? Do we have any blue sky on this or any registration documents? You see, these aren't securities, so we don't have to register with the SEC. We have 4 SEC specialist lawyers and law firms that have told us that these are not securities, unlike all these other, most of these other cryptocurrencies. So we feel pretty good as far as that goes. If that gets challenged, no, this has already gone through courts as far as the legal tender status of these gold coins.
and the district courts have already proved that they are legal tendered and may circulate. You only run into a capital gains issue if you're going back into Federal Reserve note cash, right? Because at that point, that's the definition of a gain. If you stay in the gold standard, you don't have that. You don't have that particular tax problem that other folks have.
Yeah, because obviously you're owning a particular weight of gold. Whether it's 1,000, so it's 100th of a gram or something like that. But your money is in. You're actually owning that asset, I guess, right? Is that how we consider it?
I wouldn't call the legal tender gold coins assets. They're money. So you're owning a fraction. It'd be like if I said, okay, you own a fraction of a $50 bill. Well, that fraction could be called a penny, I guess, right? But I might own a digital penny. That's kind of the same thing. We just happen to be using crypto technology to make the auditing a little better.
That's cool. And like you say, it could become a tender because the big problem with Bitcoin and the rest is when something goes up 3,000%, nobody is going to go out there and spend it to buy a latte at Starbucks or to go whatever to fill up their car with gas.
The problem is even bigger than that with cryptocurrency, because if I, and I'm not here to knock Bitcoin, but, could you imagine taking a mortgage in Bitcoin? If I were to lend you 3 Bitcoins, you could buy a house, but you have to pay me back 4 Bitcoins over 30 years. You can't do it, and it's not stable enough. So, a lot of these folks that invented cryptocurrencies for the purpose of getting away from the dollar, realized there's a volatility problem, and they said, well, we know what to do. We're going to peg cryptocurrency to the dollar. What kind of screaming joke is that? You just got away from the dollar. Now you're running back. If you want a true stable token, and really know your gold's there, Quintric's what you ought to be using.
Hey, and it's like pegging a foreign currency to the dollar, like the yuan, or, so many countries are dollarized, and, it opens up big problems. And so I know you're going to want to find out more about it. Oh, as always, if you got a question for myself or anybody you heard on the show, just email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. Hey, Jeremy, so just tell us how we find out about Quintric.
You can go to quintric.com, so quint.ric.com. We got a newsroom that's full of articles with lots of information. We have a hotline as well as an email address that you can reach out to.
All right. Hey, it's really exciting. It sounds like you've addressed a lot of the issues that are inherent in other cryptos and the weakness of the dollar. Just one final question as far as using Ethereum 20 coins here. How are we doing that?
You know what? We're using the BitShares platform that can do 100,000 transactions a second. So we really, truly want to make this thing scalable. We're trying to build a 21st century gold standard here.
All right. Well, hey, we applaud your efforts. Best of luck. The Twitter feed, by the way, @KerryLutz. Facebook page, Financial Survival Network. And hey, there'll be a link in the show notes to this interview to get to Quintric's site so you can find out more. Jeremy, thanks so much for coming on.
Okay. All right. Thank you for having me.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.